with a podcast that I was introduced to through John Cullen, who you'll be hearing talk about. Well, you might have already heard talk about Dane Cook. Big Dane Cook. I'm doing a Dane Cook Shocktober right now, and I hope people are ready to hear me talk about Mr. Brooks. But this show is not about Dane Cook unless they want it to be. This is a crossover with the Blink 155 podcast, Sam Sutherland and Josiah Hughes. Hey, dudes.
What's up?
Hello.
Happy New Year, everyone.
No, here's the problem with this one. I come back to work tomorrow, I think. Like the first live show back, I think, will be the day after this comes out. I don't know yet. I put the dates on them so that I know not to talk about Christmas.
Let's talk about it. How was your Christmas?
Oh God, it was so great. Got some Legos probably. So I'm sure that's what I'm getting from everybody.
Oh yeah,
the wrong sets, by the way. I'm sure I got all
disappointing.
Yeah. Do you have the one that's the Adidas that comes in a shoebox?
I do. It's downstairs. It's displayed proudly it's one of the first ones I bought. Because I was like, I got the Fast and the Furious car for Christmas last year. And I had so much fun putting it together. And I was like, okay, I think I like Legos now. So then I just started buying them. And I told Mike and Jesse this sometime earlier in the year. Like I'd been into Legos for like 5 months and I spent $3,000 on them. And I'm not rich either. I don't even have that kind of money.
Your gift was a Fast and Furious car, not because you love Lego, but just because you love Fast and Furious. Like I just assumed that right. So it wasn't a Lego based gift. It was a cinematic gift.
Well, it's also, I think, maybe a little bit of Lego because like I had said several times, like I want to do Legos, and then I would get in my car and I would go to the store.
Is it Lego or Legos? Because that's another thing.
Like a vinyl situation.
Yeah, like do you say I don't know, Brian. You probably don't fuck with records, do you? You're not that.
I have records downstairs. Okay. I don't ever listen to them.
Yeah, of course not. It's a scam. It's bullshit. It's some stupid bullshit from 2000s left over. But do you say? Have you ever said vinyls, or have you ever gotten mad at people for saying vinyls?
No, I think I just say records usually, and it's mostly because my wife has to move my Legos to play records, and the Back to the Future car and the Atari 2600 right on top of the stereo. By the way, I'm not like a geek when it comes to this pop culture stuff. I've seen Back to the Future.
Now what does that mean? That's an interesting defensive thing to say. Talking about your
Back to the Future car,
Fast and the Furious Legos.
I'm not a geek, yeah, for
Dude,
sure. For sure.
I'm like on three. I'm now like 3 circles of irony deep at least, where I'm fully back on the Funkos again. I got an Alfred Newman right here. Had this for a while. I think they're making sick Funkos. I can't help it. I love buying shit. What else do I have on my desk?
This is what
Legos are too expensive. Legos are too expensive to like love. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
When you look at like a set, right? Like
I have a miniature garbage pail kid toy on my desk that I've never opened. I just bought it once and just put it here, and I've never even touched it again for months. I mean,
I have like 3 Lego sets on my desk. The Seinfeld TV, but I took it apart.
Sam probably has like legal documents on his desk or something.
No, look, I have a Kinder Surprise toy that I play with sometimes.
Oh, that's pretty good.
It's kind of like a Lego.
Millennials should just be rounded up and killed. Wait, are you millennial or Gen X? I don't know.
I think I'm millennial, but like
you're
barely.
Yeah.
I'm a senior, or what are they called? Geriatric millennial. But I also think that I have a lot more in common with millennials than Gen X. And it's not like old guy trying to be young. It's just that yes. During the Gen X stuff I liked, but as a kid, like the movie Singles, I fucking loved that movie.
Oh yeah, but maybe you
There's
were
no
trying to
Lego set of singles. It's not like Matt Dillon Lego set.
Do you have the Friends Lego? I know I've seen that a lot.
Nah, I
Central
can't do that. I
Park.
can't get Friends. It's funny. I got Seinfeld, but I won't get Friends or Queer Eye, and that's not homophobic reasons. I just don't want to have it.
Well, it's Friends and Queer Eye kind of cancel each other out, don't they? Because isn't Friends like super homophobic?
Super homophobic, yeah. Sorry, I assume you're
and Queer Eye is gay as hell.
There are Lego sets, but like in my mind, I was like, okay, Seinfeld, Friends, I get that because they're sitcoms. They just threw in a reality show, and I was like, I don't know. That's just those are the TV shows that they've made Lego sets out of.
Yeah, and they made The Office, but here's the thing about I this is such a dork thing that I'm gonna say, but like, I like the sets with like a lot of pieces.
You want a challenge?
Yeah, I mean the biggest one I have is like 3,500 pieces. It was $350, and I got it for fucking Father's Day, and I put it together and I really liked it. And also they have to be ages 18 and up. You
want that sexy Lego.
The porno Lego. Well, that would be cool. Do they make porno Legos?
What's the sexiest Lego?
Is there like a vagina?
Josiah, you need to get into the Lego groups where they do
vagina Lego.
There's Lego groups that do, they call them, oh fuck, it's something like it. Well, they
make Lego pussies. They make Lego pussies.
Might. I mean, they make all kinds of shit. People, it's something called create. There you go, Lego puss.
Yeah, a lot of different representations, all different sizes and shapes represented in the Lego puss Google image results.
Buy Lego vagina free shipping on AliExpress. There you go. I don't. No.
Oh, really? You don't want to buy the bootleg Legos, though? That's what people are always trying to turn me on to. And it's like I have this weird thing about bootlegs. When I was growing up, I once was sitting in class, and this kid walked up to another kid that was wearing a gold chain, and he went to the back of it, and he like lifted it up with his finger, and he had the green shit on his neck from like fake gold chains, and people called him poor for the rest of his life. I'm sure there's still people screaming at him and calling him poor. And then, they would also check tags on your clothes. You know what I mean? Like,
of course,
if it was like not the real shit, they would come behind you and pull your tag up. So like,
what do you mean? Of course, I don't remember people checking this shit.
That's exactly. I mean, exactly, Sam, and that's why you don't collect needless items with your first ever financial, health.
Right? Yeah.
My family was
into collecting.
Well, my family was super poor when I was a kid too. My mom has apologized to me for this so many times, but like I grew up
being poor.
Well, for this specific thing I'm about to say, I mean, well, it kind of is, but we moved. Like I was born in Canada, then we lived in Scotland for like 5 years when I was a little kid. Then we moved back to Canada. Already culture shock, getting bullied constantly. My dad was a professor. It was just one income. We just moved back. So poor. My mom was like, "Oh, you can wear this winter jacket that I found at Value Village, but there's just one problem. It was in the girls section, but it's really cheap. But it's like floral. So I'll just make it black." So what she did was she in like grade 4, she spray painted it black, and then I went to school, and all the other kids at school were like hacking up a lot, like they couldn't breathe at all because it like smelled so bad, like spray paint.
I always think of like younger people than me, like people in their like, I always see people in their like 30s as very lucky growing up because the thrift store stuff was in style and cool, and you could go to the thrift store and get stuff for $2 for a shirt. When I was growing up, and I got into high school I think in '94.
You're Gen X, Brian. You're definitely Gen X.
That's fine with me.
I don't even mathematically know. I think you're definitely.
I was born in '79, but that's
like the most Gen X year imaginable. It's like Smashing Pumpkins song. Just the name, the whole vibe of it is like Gen X.
Okay,
ground zero.
But you couldn't wear. You had to have like labels on like guess. And if you went to the thrift store, if somebody I remember me and my friend saw a girl walking into Big Lots with her parents, which is this like discount store in the United States. I think they're all over. They're going into this discount closeout store, and we fucking made fun of her for like the whole year just for going to a fucking discount store. So it was like I was super terrified of like people, checking in on me, telling me I'm wearing the wrong shit. And I really wish I was around, because Gen X also was. Gen X was when they were doing thrift store stuff, but it took
a minute. I feel like it took a minute because I think it was more the fumes of the spray paint that was bumming everyone out rather than the look.
Like, how was the fit? Was the fit itself good?
I feel like it had some like, in at the waist. I would definitely wear it now without question. I mean, that's like some Balenciaga type shit.
It sounds drippy as hell.
Yeah, but like I remember also being obsessed with Umbro because everyone else had like head to toe Umbro gear, and my mom could only afford, like I had a couple items that I would just wear all the time, but I was like, oh, I wish I could have everything Umbro. And now I see Umbro in the discount stores, and I'm like, maybe I should buy this Umbro body wash that they have at Dollarama because it has the Umbro logo on it. But it'll probably
that would be so
skin
nice
disease.
If you smelled like Umbro.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what's funny? I grew up in a house with 2 Newfoundland dogs, and we had an above ground pool when I was growing up, and they would swim in the pool. And
that's strange.
Oh, because Newfoundland,
what do they look like?
That's their gimmick. You know what I mean? They're hairy and they swim.
Just picture like all day long, you just put these dogs in there, they just swim around in circles.
I just like the idea that every dog has a gimmick, where you're like, oh, that dog's gimmick is
the leader dog gimmick is that it's small and looks like a hot dog,
Yeah, exactly.
Pitbull gimmick is eating babies or whatever.
Yeah.
So this dog's gimmick was like swimming, and then my parents worked all day, so it was just us at home. And I think there's 5 of us, but like I remember we just let the dogs do whatever the fuck they wanted to do. So they would get in the pool, swim, and then walk into the house and like shake the fucking water off in the house. And my parents weren't like bathing them either. So these dogs smelled like fucking shit. I one time had my brother one time had 10 pounds of weed in the basement, and my parents didn't smell it because the house smelled so much like a fucking dog. And I had this San Jose Sharks starter jacket that was fucking sweet. And I went to school, and this girl asked if she could borrow it, and I let her borrow it, and then she took it to another class that I wasn't in, and fucking everybody was like, dude, your jacket smells like a fucking dog and cigarettes, because I smoked too. So the jacket smells like dog and fucking cigarettes, and she had to like ask if she could go give it back to me in another class. And it was just, I was miserable. I was so mad at my parents about the dogs. I have never owned a dog in my life. I've never had a dog or a cat. I have no pets in my house. I have
because of specifically
no pet policy.
Because of olfactory issues,
but specifically because of the San Jose Shark starter.
Yeah, it's because of that starter.
It's just traumatic.
Yeah, it was so traumatic. And like I mean, I'm obsessed with my smell now too. Do you have a signature odor, or do you just mean like do you put anything?
Does anyone ever truly know what they smell like? Is the other thing. Like, is it possible to know? I don't think so.
Because when you go on vacation or you're gone for a few days and you come home, that's your smell. Like you can smell it. Because I used to go on tour and be gone for 2.5 weeks. And my wife and daughter would be living in the house while I was gone. I'd come home and I would smell the house, and I'd be like, okay, that's what the house smells like. I can live with that. That's not too bad.
Do you wear stuff now? You got a signature scent you rock with?
Don't know, but I have started wearing, this has like been embarrassing to me a little bit. I've been wearing Old Spice
hell yeah
deodorant, because what happens
is it embarrassing because of the ads?
Well, no. They make those fucking I got fed up because I bought a deodorant and the smell was supposed to be stone. And I don't know what stone was supposed to smell like, but it didn't smell at all to me. And I was fucking irritated with it. And then I bought sandalwood. It barely smelled like anything. And I was like, I just got to go back to the old school, get the Old Spice deodorant. And then when I put it on and I climb in bed and I put my arms up, my wife's like, damn, you smell good. She never said that with the stone deodorant.
There's so many flavors called like Epic Party and stuff. Like that would be my rich guy thing to own every flavor of Old Spice.
So I wanted to do a cultural exchange with you guys. You guys have taught me about Blink-182 and pop punk. Yeah. And look, these were things I hated.
Important stuff.
And you don't hate them because I hate them, I think.
I don't think I like them. I've never listened to a whole album. I will say that. But I think the funny album titles, it just wasn't cool. I was into Korn, which I know. I was into like nu metal at that time. And so you guys were like, I mean, I hate to say it now. It looks bad in 2022, but I probably would have been calling you guys gay if you were into Blink.
Oh yeah, definitely. But, I wonder if you would have been using some other words too. But.
Yes.
I thought when you were like, it's not right. I was like, he's gonna say it. Like, as you were winding up into it.
A Korn fan. I wonder what word a Korn fan would use too.
Yeah. Well, I was the same way. Where I grew up, skaters were dorks. Like everybody was mean to skaters, and they like would pick on them, and people would like, I don't know.
What about like grunge people? What did you think about grunge people?
You know what? There was a period where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go grunge. After all the so basically for me, grunge was like when I wanted to dress up to like impress a girl. Like I would normally wear like t-shirt and Jinko jeans and obviously the hat, and I also have very weird hair for a period of time. And
what does weird I would hair mean in this context? I want to conjure it in my mind.
So I used to shave a fade up my sides.
But you would shave it yourself?
No. My buddy would shave me a fade on my sides and back, and then I left the bangs. So like I would have a little bit of hair on top, and then bangs that come down to like below my eyes. And
is that the haircut that Monroe, the Mad Magazine character, had?
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh my god, deep mad ref. Dropping the deep mad ref.
So, it was a style at the time.
Yeah, there was a cartoon character based on it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I used to have girls would help me out, and they would like braid them and put different colored things in them, rubber bands with them. So I would do that every once in a while. And it's a shame because there's really not like, I don't think there are any pictures of me with this hairdo, but I was I didn't have Monroe's hair. I'm looking at Monroe now. Yeah. And it was hipper than that at the time.
I feel like you're like
Monroe was a troubled soul. It's
he was. I mean, beautiful looking cartoon, but
Monroe shaved it. Or no, he had the big things. Okay, I'm looking at him. No, I just had the bangs, and then one time, my brother, or I was having my friend cut my hair. My other friend wasn't able to do it, so I don't go to barbers. I was having my friend cut my hair, and he fucked it up and had to shave the bangs off, and I fucking locked myself in a bathroom and screamed, "You just made me look like an army F slur," is what I said. For some reason, I didn't want to look like somebody in the army. So, but yeah,
wild combination.
Yes, growing up with this stuff was very much like I knew the kind of guys you were, right? Like I knew the Blink 182 people, but I think we just like sort of hated them. You know what I mean?
Because you're like a shock jock guy, obviously. That's one of the main things you're doing. Was that what you were into back then too? Like, did you like silly things at all? I feel like being into pop punk meant that you liked being silly.
I hated it. I remember, and I hate this guy now, but at the time I was like a Marilyn Manson fan. And I remember he did an interview where he said anybody that smiles while they're playing an instrument should be beaten to death with the instrument. And I would just walk around saying that. Like,
I agree with that now. You know, he said some things right, I guess. But...
That's a read the art from the artist, I guess.
Yeah. With that one quote.
Yeah, with that single insight.
But it seems like to me, like Limp Bizkit did have goofy songs, and so did Korn. Korn had All in the Family, which I don't know if you guys
hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was a huge Korn. See, here's the thing: I was a huge Korn fan, like huge Korn fan.
Yeah, I always wondered that, Sam, because Sam is like always going to see, even though I live in Quebec, Sam's always going to see like Quebecois Korn cover bands and stuff. He's like a deep head.
These
but
bands
I didn't know...
huge in Quebec, like still huge in Quebec. So like Korn, Montreal's premier Korn tribute band, Pimp Bizkit, Montreal's premier Limp Bizkit tribute band, Not Slip, just like absolute A+ because they have time. It's Montreal. They spend like $100 on rent every month, and the rest of the time they're like rehearsing being the greatest facsimile of Korn imaginable.
I didn't know if you were always a new metalhead or if you just like if it was more like kind of how it's like hip.
Oh, like a latter day affectation or something.
Because I got into Korn. Man. I got into Korn through the Skrillex collab when we were on tour. I heard it and I was like, "Oh, this is tight."
No, I mean, I got into Korn through Follow the Leader, like so not because I'm a little bit younger, but then I went backwards, and you know, to me it was possible to be into Blink-182, Ben Folds 5, and Korn, but I'm just built different.
Oof. Yeah, I think you guys are younger too, and I think you guys are also younger, so like. I think younger people were kind of allowed to have varied taste.
I think that's true. And it keeps the sort of like, there's got to be a new way. I feel like I'm already using an outmoded word, but it was like very, very tribal, right? It was like you weren't allowed to like,
I thought you were going to say
like,
and
everything else is fucking stupid. Yeah.
Oh, don't
I'm not Jonathan Davis. So
people would be so mad at that. But
got better, right. You know?
You weren't allowed to like,
you had to pick
like
a side.
if you liked metal, you technically were allowed to like rap, but only the Wu-Tang Clan, really. That was the only rap you were allowed to like. But you weren't, when I grew up, man, you had to take a side. And like my friends and I chose nu metal, and I was early to the party too. I will say that. I feel pretty confident in saying that like I saw Korn live the first time in 1994, and they were opening for Megadeth on a theater tour. So I was there early. I saw them like 7 or 8 times before I saw them in an arena. And like, I was super early to it, but then I don't know. You guys definitely have to have that thing where like they start to get famous and then you start to just be like these fucking sellouts and they don't even do anything. Like Korn never did it. Skrillex might have been a sellout album.
No, but that record is so fucking good. It's like it's a very acceptable sellout.
Yeah. But at that time, I was into Korn, I was into Limp Bizkit, and yeah, I was listening to a lot of Howard Stern at that time. Like I had gotten into him when I was in the 10th grade. So like I was kind of like, I never wanted to be a comedian ever in my life. I really wanted to be in a band, but not enough to learn how to play an instrument or even sing or anything like that. And I just kind of defaulted to podcaster when I figured out nobody's gonna ask me to be in their band.
I mean, podcasting is the perfect thing to do if you're too lazy to work on any craft at all and just want to still get attention every week. I think it's kind of the perfect medium.
It's the dream. It's the goddamn dream.
I mean, I feel so lucky that I got to tour this thing and that I will definitely do something live again. Like I did get to be on stage. I just thought comedians were fucking dorks back then. I couldn't fucking stand. I thought all comedians were Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah. I thought they
And
were all Jerry
and now you have his
Seinfeld,
Lego. So what does that
and
say?
I have his Lego set, but I didn't watch his show. I watched Martin instead. You know, he's on at the same time. But so I turned you guys on to David Draymond
Oh
on
my God.
the PODcast, and
Incredible.
I do have David Draymond audio, but
I thought you were going to say you have
also-
David Draymond on the horn.
He
was
like,
just
he's been waiting.
He was
like in
just
your
here.
house or in your
Columbus,
town?
and
Yeah.
I'll bet you I could have interviewed him if me and Josiah worked on him for a few days.
I've tried, I've mentioned last time I've been trying. I tried to get him on Blocked Party. He unfollowed me.
Are you in the DMs or were you just sort of?
He followed me
on
back, and I put up with all of his fucking insane shit that he posts all the
crazy.
time, just so that I could stay mutuals. But then I DM'd him and invited him onto Blocked Party. I don't even think I even told either of them about it. But then he was like, I don't really do podcasts, and he unfollowed me. But no, I can still DM him. If anyone has anything they want to say in the DMs to David Draymond, let me know. I'll happily
tell him his
on.
documentary is a beautiful piece of art.
It's a good one. So I went and I looked for anything I could, any David Draymond I could find, and obviously we're gonna play a few of the Device song meaning things. But right before I started recording, and I want to teach you guys. I tried to teach Josiah about this. I played a little bit of them when he co-hosted Street Fight with me. Of Sully Erna from Godsmack does a
podcast. Wow!
And,
is it fucking great,
dude? The clip that Brian showed me is like, I think one of the most culturally insensitive things I've ever seen in my life.
Yes. Oh yes,
it's so fucked.
I can play that one again. I'm always down to play that one.
I think Sam needs to see it.
I would really, really love to experience this. Is Godsmack like a going concern? Because to me, they were just sort of the one hit, but it's a big hit.
Yes, they are. I mean, they've done really fucking well as far as like they've done really.
What's the
they're
annual
like one
income?
of the biggest bands. Yeah.
Like I know they must have sold records, but like, what do you think they're making like on a tour? Like, what's David Draymond taking home? It can't be that much, is it?
Fucking guys are selling so many tickets.
Really?
When you're in Ohio, like you got to think about like
they just tour back and forth through Ohio.
Well, they tour through this whole part of the country, and
flyover country.
Yeah,
is that what it's called?
That's what they call it. Yeah. I'm getting there. I gotta find him. Okay, so I'll set it up to
this is Sully.
Sully from Godsmack has decided that he wants to do a game on his podcast called Radness or Madness. And it's a very funny bit. You guys you'll
is
never
Godsmack like, because whatever is the single, right?
Yeah.
Is the rest of it like that? Because it's like pretty groovy. Like I'm gonna listen to it when we're done here. Like I want to hear that.
They are doing like they're doing. I gotta find 5924. Yeah, I'm trying to. They are like got it. I think I got it here. Wait a minute. Oh, Brian. But yeah, they are still touring, and I think they do arenas.
Because if they're kind of
America's
like,
so weird.
Even their logo is like kind of like almost hip. Like I feel like they could almost get on the turnstile wave if they just
like it's kind of like Sublimey a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It has it's almost on that. I don't know.
It's there for sure. I think like the critical rejuvenation of Godsmack. Maybe it starts here. I mean,
well, maybe not. I mean, once you see Sully, I think he's the problem holding them.
I'm about to.
I
got it. I got it up here. I don't think the Pitchfork set will like this. This is so they're playing Radness or Madness, and here we go. Here it comes.
I gotta tell you.
What's Jacoby Shaddix? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This is rad. Oh, fucking mad. Because
yes, he's.
Do you need to explain? Do you need to explain what it is? It's Jacoby. He's talking to Jacoby about this collaboration he did,
And we're all Jacoby positive here, right? Is there anything I don't know about Jacoby?
I mean, he's not the worst guy in the world, I don't think, but he is incredibly annoying.
Sure,
and
that's not a crime.
I don't like a famous guy.
I do a podcast with Josiah. Oh, yeah. Is his name not Jacoby Shaddix?
But he came out at first as Kobe Dick, and then he changed it.
That's way better. Oh, that's so much better.
That's
like
kind of
2 Chainz used to be Titty Boy, right? Like it's like
way better.
Yeah.
First off, best
spot. They also, I will say that like Papa Roach was too punk for me back then.
Yeah. They weren't true nu metal.
He's kind of trying to play both sides, I think, and I think he's a little bit too pretty to be. I don't know. He's too pretty.
Okay, so this is a collaboration that Jacoby Shaddix did with a band called The Who, the HU, and he'll explain the whole thing for you in this clip.
I can't get a gauge on it. I've heard about these fucking guys, but until I seen it, I didn't know you did a collaboration. But can we please roll the next clip?
I think I know what's coming.
Oh
yeah!
Wait, you're gonna just hear this dude's voice. Right here we go. Right here. You hear that shit?
Here it comes. It's my favorite thing.
What the fuck?
Yeah, man.
Dude, that sounds like my ass in the morning after like a half a bottle of whiskey and some refried beans and Mexican food.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Is it good? I don't know what to think of it. I've never heard them before.
Yeah, these are my guys, man. So they're called The Who. They're from Mongolia. And this guy I know discovered them online, found this video, and was just super into it. And so he brought it to 11-7, and they signed the group, and they were looking for collaborators to bring like.
So that he's
wow.
I don't think I said this last time, but Brian, I don't think you realize like what he just said. If a Canadian media figure said something like that about any kind of indigenous form of expression,
because he's doing like
they would literally
thing. Is that like a Tobin throat singing thing? Yeah. Okay.
If somebody said that in Canada, they would literally never work again. Probably.
That's true. That's absolutely true. There's no. Like if you say that, like, so there's like a very famous in certain circles like throat singer in Canada, Tanya Tagaq, and like I'm imagining someone in Canadian media because there's a famous throat singer or like part of what she does is like rooted in traditional Inuit throat singing, and like imagine like even if it was just like not like on TV, if it was on a podcast or something like that, you would have to leave the fucking country.
Like I think if you said that, like there's like I mean we're getting too Canadian, but there's like Canadian there's like something called the Polaris Prize in Canada, which is this whole fucking thing. But there's a secret board where people post candidly what they actually think about Canadian music. There's only like 50 people in it, and if you say something off color in there, it'll have a ripple effect like on your it gets around they would find this and destroy you.
And Canada's not big enough to have like an intellectual dark web, like we just got one web and it's like sort of it's dusky. It's like it's not great, but it's not fucking horrible. And
this is not
all in.
This is not a critique of Canada. It's more of that I wish that Sully was Canadian so that he could be fucking destroyed for what he just said.
The reason I cut that out the first time because I do a series on the Patreon called Butt Fest, which is about butt rock music, and that's how I discovered the Sully podcast because we'll kind of make fun of interviews with guys like this, and that's how I found it. And the reason I clipped that wasn't because of how insensitive it is, but it is very insensitive. It's the really bad joke that he did. But it's like, that sounds like my ass when I eat refried beans at Mexican food. And you're like,
it's true. In addition to being tone deaf or offensive, look, man, look, it's tough to talk.
Yeah, it must be tough for you, eh?
It is really hard for me. Thank you. But it should be incredibly fucking offensive. It's also just like a terrible joke.
The worst.
And on top of that, it's like he's talking to the guy who made the song. Like that's the other thing. Like
one of the
you can see him in the video. He's on the song, and he's like
radness or badness, or radness or madness. And radness is good and madness is bad. Which madness isn't even. I would have said badness. I think if I wouldn't have done a radness thing, I wouldn't have said that. But if I was going to punch up Sully's concept, I would say radness.
You should DM him.
Yeah,
he can help produce the show,
or he could be a new. He could be your new permanent Street Fight co-host. Maybe.
Oh, dude! If you listen to some episodes of this show, it will blow you away how stupid and talentless this guy is when it comes to
obviously about Street Fight.
Yes. with Sully, it is like, man, I guess he can sing. I hate that kind of singing though. That I'm doing the best I ever did. Like, I don't like that. So I don't care if he can sing. But like, he is not funny, and like he wants to be so bad. He's kind of like Blink-182 in a way, because I don't think Blink-182 ever did something funny in the whole.
I agree.
Not
with
on
you.
purpose.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. They are funny, but they don't know why.
Yeah, because I remember Take Off Your Pants and Jacket came out, and I did hear it the first time and laugh. But the problem with naming your album Take Off Your Pants and Jacket is that like it exists forever, and the joke is only funny one time for like 10 seconds.
Well, I was one of the people who didn't get the joke until like 10 years in. I don't know, Sam. Were you the same way? It took me forever. I was like, why are people talking about this title?
I'm pretty intellectual, so I definitely got it right away.
You got it right away. God damn.
You didn't go on. Did you go on official website? I used to go on the official Korn website and the official Deftones website and like talk on their forums. And you didn't do that with Blink-182?
No, I did that with because I was already like, I was like pretty hip pretty early on. I was always going to like underground shows. So I was always on message boards for like the scene. And I was definitely causing a lot of scene drama constantly. I was like a little I was basically doing what I do on Twitter now, but intentionally just to hurt like 10 people's feelings in the scene.
that you're gonna be in the same room with.
Yeah, exactly. Just like really begging to be punched in the face, but it still hasn't happened. So
Yeah, I mean
someone owes me one, I'm sure.
I mean, yeah, I spent a lot of time on DeftonesWorldwide.com, which was their official page, and would just chat. It was such a weird thing at that time, because it's like, what really is there to talk about when album cycles are like 2.5 years? Because back then album cycles were so fucking long, and it's like, what are we talking about on like month 15 of the White Pony album cycle?
Did you have like a Deftones specific username that you posted under, or was it just
when I was on? I don't remember at that time what it was, but I know that my first online name was Defcorn 420.
That's really good. Is that like DEFCON?
No, Def DEF.
No, I know. I'm saying, were you playing on that though? Like on DEFCON?
I wouldn't have even known that. It's too stupid to know something like that.
I think we talked about this on
weed.
On our pod, my brother-in-law, my wife's brother, his email growing up was, I believe, some newfound punk. Like, and that was his, because it was all about mashing that shit together. Like, my buddy that was really into new metal growing up, his email was Head Monkey 69.
Nice. You always got to get a 420 because I had Limp Corn 666 too, which weird one, but
I've always been so bad at thinking of usernames that I've just always posted under my own name, thus severely limiting my opportunities in life with all the things I've done.
Well, I'm the same. I don't use my real name's not Murder, but I kind of backed into the name, and then after a while, it's like, You know what? Kind of sounds like a cool punk thing. Like
it does.
Like one of those.
You have
it's a cool name.
Especially with the X, you seem straight edge.
That's true. Yeah.
Like with your username alone. I know. Yeah, I know.
Because I'm not.
A
but
dirty thing
let's take a look at Hometown Sessions episode 8 with Brent Smith of Shinedown. You guys big Shinedown heads?
Oh, I'm down. I'm down with the shine.
I only know Simple Kind of Man. Their cover of that, which every band does now. Deftones did it. They did it.
Are they on the Spider-Man soundtrack or something? Is that?
I think that's Saliva. I think that's
okay.
Saliva.
I don't think I've ever heard Shinedown.
Yeah, this is like, again, this feels like there is a little bit of a cultural thing where there's like
it's a cultural exchange.
This is why this is a cultural exchange, because there's some, like, I know the name, but there's some butt rocky new metals. Because is this butt rock or new metal?
Yeah, he's more butt and new. I think it's more butt rock and it's newer.
I was probably listening to like Christian Finesse or like Rune Gramophone or Compact Records. I was like probably like way up my own ass when this came out.
So I think what year is 2010 or so, right? I think.
Oh yeah, I was like,
so I was just listening to a Wilhelm scream. Like I was just listening.
I was like,
to
and I was like collecting. I was collecting ambient record vinyls. I went to like a store in Paris that only sold ambient records and like dropped like $300 there. I was like in that era when this happened.
I do
very passionate about Against Me.
Me too. I do way too late, by the way. For me,
really?
I got into them in like 2011 or 2012. Never heard of them until then.
How did you hear of them?
Which era was that?
Somebody. No, it doesn't matter which era it was because I was just listening to Reinventing Axl Rose.
It's sort of like, oh my god, so you had like a late stage folk punk phase, basically.
just that. Oh, I guess I listened to a little bit of Johnny Hobo too. For a period of time. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him.
I never heard of that.
No.
Never. Oh, I can't believe you never heard of him.
Insensitive. So that seems like something that Sully would say.
Well, Sully's talking to Shinedown. Brent Smith from Shinedown, which by the way also has a podcast, also tries to do jokes, also very bad every time. It's great.
Is there a good like
that's like the least rock star name ever, Brent Smith?
I thought it was Canadian. I thought as part of your cultural exchange that you called it the Hometown Sessions with Brent Smith, and I was like, I feel like I produced this for like a like Canadian telecom brand 10 years ago. Like all of these words are so generically Canadian.
Brent Smith, I believe, is a Memphis guy, though. I think Shinedown is a Memphis band.
Knoxville, Tennessee, I think, is where he's originally from. At least I'm checking.
Is there also a Canadian country star named Brent Smith? I swear to fucking God.
I mean, there's probably thousands of guys named Brent Smith.
He's collabed with Theory of a Dead Man.
Brent Kissel. I'm thinking.
Oh
Brent
god!
All right, let's
worst band of all time.
I never thought I'd say this, but let's see the fucking Sully.
Let's hear it. Let's hear what I got here.
It's been a little frustrating for me over the years. And by the way, I am a huge supporter of the Grammys. I'm a huge supporter of Music Cares.
What accent is this?
Say that.
Massachusetts. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I love the line. I'm a huge supporter of the Grammys.
I'm a huge supporter of the Grammys. Wow, what the fuck? I love that.
His accent makes him sound like a 5-year-old who hasn't learned how to like say R's and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a huge supporter of the Grammys.
Here you go.
I'm always supporting their events. I do my part when they ask us to do anything because what they do, I think, the causes that they stand for are really great and are needed, especially within the artist industry, because so many of us fall into the severe depressions or the addictions or the suicidal tendencies and things like that. And as you know,
I mean, you'd be lucky to fall into suicidal tendencies. They made it.
Neither of them have probably heard of suicidal tendencies before.
I
tweak for them.
I went to go see Suicidal Tendencies one time and got kicked out before they got on stage. So smoking weed, there was like 16 people at the place and we decided we were going to smoke weed in the middle of the floor. And the guy was like, you gotta
like, what are you fucking doing, man? Watching people get kicked out of shows before the band starts is, and I feel like it's been a minute. I feel like maybe like I don't go to the right shows anymore. Like people have just generally got control of themselves, but like I saw Kiss play once in Quebec City on the Plains of Abraham. It was like 70,000 people, this massive battlefield, important site in Canadian history. They do this festival there every summer. And I have never seen more people carried over the barricade before a band started in my life. Like hundreds of people were too fucking drunk and got passed to the front and then just were like taken away to a tent in full Kiss makeup. It was so beautiful. It was so fun.
I was in an Ozfest riot in 1997. I went to Ozfest and there was a riot because this is like my favorite.
Which band wasn't playing?
Yeah. Well, you got to hear like
Shinedown canceled.
What actually? So they don't fucking tell you anything when you're coming in, and people. It was 97, so it was the first year Ozfest had gone on tour, and they're like we show up at fucking 9 o'clock in the morning, shit housed, like already just so drunk.
How old are you at this point?
I am 16 or 17. No, I'm 18. Yes. I'm 18. Awesome. And all of us are so fucking drunk. And
when did you start drinking? Like, when did you, like, what was because waking up early is hard when you're that young. So obviously you were committed to the cause, but like, just like what gets you to that gate that fucked up?
It was 8:30 or 9 or something like that. And then we got in a car and drove. First of all, a car that wasn't even ours. It was technically not stolen, but also could have been considered stolen. And
the person that you borrowed it from didn't know you had borrowed it, kind of situation.
Yes, that's perfect. Yeah, they had no idea that we were taking it. And we got $10 in pennies and rolled them up because none of us had fucking any money at all. I went there with $0 in my pocket. And we got there, we paid for parking with pennies, which is fucking evil and mean to the parking attendant people. And then we got in there, everybody's fucking drunk. So the whole day is like rowdy. Everybody's throwing sod at each other. It's massive. And people are just going crazy. And people are just, by even like 3 o'clock, it was so rowdy at this thing. And then, you know, a band comes out and performs. And then like almost like an all-star band of like had Peter Steele from Typo Negative. They had Marilyn Manson. They had Phil Anselmo and Dimebag from Pantera. And they had, I think it was just like a mix of all these bands playing Ozzy songs. It was pretty sick.
That's fucking sick.
And then Phil Anselmo at the end, he's like, yeah, Ozzy's not gonna make it. Now, at this time of my life, I don't give a fuck about Ozzy. Like I probably knew 5 Ozzy songs because I was there for like the earlier in the day, the Coal Chamber and stuff. And and people start booing. And then Phil says, fuck this. I don't have to put up with this. Threw the mic down. And then the place just exploded. Started kicking the fence down. Helicopters were flying around with the lights on us saying, like, everybody chill out. The cops were handcuffing people to trees and saying, we'll come back and get you. And like, it was just this fucking massive, massive riot of people who, like, I was like egging it on the way out, and I was like, fuck this. If Ozzy can't even show up to his own festival, this is fucking bullshit, man. And it's like, meanwhile, we got a better show than
Ozzy. Way more unique. That's awesome.
That's so sick.
Yeah. That place got tore down, though. The fence, cars were getting flipped. There were fires. People were breaking windows and shit.
Man, if we're getting like wild. Multiple Woodstock 99 documentaries, I want to see a documentary about the Columbus Ozfest riot of
seriously
7 or
well,
whatever.
I was at Woodstock 99 too, so I was also there.
Okay, so I feel like there's a common denominator when they're like tracing and they're like, it's Fred Durst's fault, or it's the organizer's fault, or it's toxic masculinity's fault. No, it's Murder Brian.
Well, he's kind of the Venn diagram of all 3 of those things.
Yeah,
actually, I have told this on a show. It's sort of embarrassing to me, but we left Sunday morning because I was like, I can't stay here anymore, man. This is miserable. I'm not having fun. I didn't want to see. I didn't want to see the Red Hot.
You're not toxic enough. Oh, that's defensible. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm taking a very strong stance on the Red Hot Chili Peppers these days, so I support you.
If you look at the last day of music, there was sort of like kind of nothing there that I was into. I was there for Limp Bizkit, Korn, and ICP. So let's see what he's talking to Shinedown about.
No, we've lost some amazing people along the way. So for those things, I think, it really is strong for what they stand for. But I also get frustrated because when I see an entity like that is the elite award show for musicians, they're the Oscars for musicians, and at least that's what they were. And yet they cut a hard rock category out as if it's invalid, as if the Beatles and the Elvises and the Zeppelins and the Rolling Stones of the world are
He's
all
like
of a
a
sudden
music
not
encyclopedia. Name dropping all those bands. God damn.
Yeah,
he knows his stuff. Eh?
Wow.
Seriously.
I like this thing that he like really like this is his cause, where he's like the Grammys, which I love, by the way. I've never heard somebody say that in my life. I've never heard somebody say that they like the Grammys. And I don't think Godsmack has ever won a Grammy, which is maybe why he's kind of pissed off that they got rid of the Hard Rock Grammy.
Right. He's like, wait, our next record is going to be the one. The idea of like offering a critique of an arts institution, but couching it in your deep respect is incredibly Canadian.
That's true. Because, that's very true.
You can't criticize anything in this country or say racist shit. So again, like some of it's good, some of it's bad. Just because like eventually you're going to need a job there. Like you and all of your friends work at the Canadian Grammys.
I think it's too late to care about the Grammys at all. Nobody gives a shit about the Grammys.
If there was a hard rock category now, it would be handed out like 3 weeks before the ceremony, which would just be Pitbull playing for 3 hours. Like who gives a fuck? It's not going to be. It's like
there's a metal one though too. I mean, what's the difference between hard rock and metal? Anyway.
Oh wow. Okay, I see.
That's up to a musicologist like Sully to explain to.
They don't stand a chance in the metal category, but the hard rock category. I'm looking. The last one was given to Them Crooked Vultures in 2011. Before that, it was AC/DC. Before that, Mars Volta, Foo Fighters, Wolf Mother. It hasn't been like in their category. 2006 was the last like kind of this genre of music. System of a Down one. The hard
you ever
rock,
look at the heavy metal one? It's got some real funny winners, like Jethro Tull won the first one. I think last year Iron Maiden won, like in 2021.
Is that for the space album, or which was like pretty good.
The Iron Maiden album.
I will listen to a new Iron Maiden album when it comes out and be like, all right, and then I'll never think about it again.
I think Body Count won last year for the metal or best metal performance. Is that different than metal record?
They did win last year.
As soon as you start talking about Grammys, you have to figure out what's a record and what's a performance. It's exhausting. It's so
also
exhausting.
Like, what year? Like, is this a recent video that we're watching?
Yes, it's 2021, I believe.
Yeah,
so it's 10 years after
they got rid of the Grammys were also like increasingly like a soft target, like because it was 2019 or 2020 when the guy who ran the Grammys, when like no women won a single Grammy, and he did the press conference and was asked about it. He was like, maybe women should just fucking try harder.
Yeah, but Sam, do you really think Sully and Brent Smith are also like this is like. This reminds me of that article that is from a few months ago now. That was like, we need to forgive each other about how we acted during COVID.
Oh,
and then everyone's like, fuck that. All the anti-vaxxers, fuck them. And then the anti-vaxxers are like, I'll never forgive Pfizer. It's kind of like that. It's like everyone hates the Grammys, whether you are a feminist or you're Sully or not.
So the funniest Grammy, I think, and I wish Jesse Farrar was here to give us his opinion on it. But
he knows a lot about music.
Well, big Grammy head. He's like Sully. He loves the Grammys.
No, it's a band that he likes, though. One, Dream Theater, the Alien. Actually, I don't know if you guys know.
He likes Dream Theater.
Such a. Is he a sound
oh my
guy?
God!
Like, I didn't know anyone.
Dude, okay, he's done our show twice. I learned that he likes Weezer and Five Iron Frenzy, but he always pretends that he's never heard of any artists. And now I know it's because he's a secret. Is there a name for dream theater heads? Like fucking perpetual virgins?
When he I think he told us on the POD cast maybe or another thing, and I never forgot it because I look at Jesse.
Of course.
I look at him and I'm like, that guy can't like Dream Theater. There's no fucking way.
Who else would though? Obviously,
Well,
it's
that's
gonna be
like-
the
That makes me feel like I've never.
comedy
If I
guy.
can't spot a Dream Theater fan, like what good am I? You know, like what if I'm friends with someone who's really into Dream Theater and I don't know it because I've never asked them and they don't.
I mean,
offer that
I'm
information.
I'm really good friends with a huge Coheed and Cambria fan, and it's like definitely
so
it's just me.
funny.
That's when I just gave up on like, you know what? Let people enjoy things. Like,
I
I
am-
love you, Matt. You can like Coheed if you want.
I'm a
love
friend. One of my friends is big into. He's one of those dudes that gets real drunk on like a Friday night and then shares videos from YouTube.
Like just
in a
like,
chat?
over text. You mean like in the group chat?
Yeah, he'll just chat. It will be in chat. And he's like, I'm watching this live Coheed and Cambria concert. You guys got to check this out. This kicks ass. And obviously, nobody ever checks it out because watching live music
It doesn't
sucks.
kick ass.
No.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
nothing. Live. People yell at me for this. I don't think there's ever been a good live album. And those are my two hard rules with music are no good live albums and no good live albums, no remixes. I never want to hear another remix for as long as I live. I have never heard a good remix in my life.
But you also said something on Twitter recently that really speaks to our show. Is that you've also said that every cover is good. I've seen you say that
that's true.
before.
That's true.
That's what
People
our
hate
show for 5 years we've been proving that constantly, whether it's like divorced guy who can't play guitar but is doing windmills on his guitar in his sad little basement suite, or if it's like a little teen singing their heart out. I think every cover might be better than the original, actually. That might be my take.
Now you're gonna get yelled at.
You're building
That's
on
like
it.
when I
Yeah.
said barfing. That's when I said I like
Yeah,
barfing.
yeah,
And
so
Oh,
people-
that was insane. That was the craziest thing you've ever posted, man.
Brian is so fucking mad.
It's
Seriously.
like-
I know.
I feel like you've never enjoyed your body if you're ranking barfing that high.
I don't. I hate my.
You're just
I
not. You're not
never-
using that body right, man.
I've said before, I was like, I don't want to think of anything happening under the skin. Like it makes me nervous to think of like if I hear somebody's pulse, if I hear my pulse, it freaks me out. I'm like really weirded out by it. But the truth
Maybe
is,
because you think that it's all barf under there. You think that
No.
everything's just barf going through. You
I'm
gotta
gonna-
get it out.
I'm going to tell this story. I probably already told it before, but it was months ago. As of the time that we are recording this, yesterday, I got up and had to shit and went to the bathroom and the toilet clogged. It was just too big of a shit. And that happens to me kind of a lot because I eat like
That's
shit or
great.
whatever. And
Big shit is healthy though, I think. I don't think
Yeah,
that
that's
if you're
true.
eating,
Well,
eating a lot
now-
of junk food, you'd be backed up or it'd be little pellets or like, it'd be easy to flush.
well,
but
this
it'd
was
be no
like
good.
this was 2 days. Like there was
Okay,
a day where I
okay,
did
yeah.
shit, and then the next day I
It's
fucking
like-
massive shit.
Yeah.
Right? And I always try to flush after every turd. You know what I mean? Like that's
Oh,
that's
I don't
my
like that because you get the water. Like it's like if you're in a public bathroom that has the sensor and you like kind of like you move a little to look at your
Yeah.
phone or something, and then you get the like sort of dirty bidet effect
Yeah.
into your butt. So I would never flush actively.
Also,
while
what do
on
you
the toilet.
how do
5
you
to
so-
6 times.
Quick
That's
aside,
fucked up. That's-
what do you guys think about this new pro bidet lobby going on? I mean, I'm sorry, but
I
I'll
have
stick with toilet paper. I don't know.
I love it. I use toilet paper too,
See?
but I like to
Use
have
a
a
bit of
clean
both.
asshole. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
such a
overrated.
good clean hole.
Talking about
situation.
scents, you gotta. I like to
Well, when
spread
you-
my scent around. You leave a little.
When you
bit
walk
on there.
12, when you walk like at the very least 12 miles a day, you want to make sure that's all cleaned up back there.
That's true.
Fair and there was a period where I was every time I took a shit, I was just jumping in the shower, that's crazy.
Wow.
You know,
So the bidet is like an efficiency tool.
Yes.
very good. So
It's like a
I
necessary device.
So this thing is clogged, and then I'm trying to plunge it, and then I'm like, oh, I think I got it. And I hit the turlet thing, the flusher, and I didn't get it. And it was filling up, and the water was dark fucking brown, and it had pee in it too, and toilet paper, and it was hideous, right? It was so gross. And I was fucking really freaking out, and I'm like trying to plunge, and then it's coming out the side of the toilet, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm fucking getting it on my pants, my legs. I was wearing shorts, my pajamas, and then I'm like trying to plunge to get it out, but it's too full for me to plunge this thing. So then I have to go down to my basement and get a bucket, and I grab a cup that we never use with a handle on it, and I'm scooping turd water out of the toilet into a bucket.
Okay.
Into a bucket, and then you know what? I dumped it in my backyard because it was supposed to rain.
Did it not rain?
Didn't ever rain. It didn't. It rained last night.
There's like a small patch that's just a beautiful lush garden that's grown naturally.
Actually, yeah. I threw it in the alley behind my house. I did walk past my yard, and I just threw it in the alley, and then you know I'm clean. I get back up there, and I'm like, okay, so I emptied it out. Now I can plunge until it works. And I fucking get in there, man. And I'm plunging and plunging and plunging. My goddamn plunger just falls off. Like the handle sort of falls off because it's a screw in situation because I wanted like a really strong plunger.
Classic plunger. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have to stick my hand down in that fucking water to fix the fucking plunger. And so people are like, Brian, I can't believe you rank shitting so low. Well, that's like,
this is an easy flush. It's easier to flush puke, I guess. I understand.
Right. Like whatever.
And this is not the first time you've gone through this, like this much trouble.
I mean, that's the other thing too about the famous. It's a famous story in Street Fight is the piss hole story, which is in my basement where the water drains from the washer. Sometimes I'll just go down there and piss in that hole if I have to pee to drain.
Are you a one washroom house?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
But Americans don't say washroom, right? That's
no, we say bathroom.
But
I know.
But what do you say when you're in public? Because I keep forgetting. I feel like I'm being Berenstain about it.
We can say we're going to the restroom, maybe.
Yeah. Why is it a restroom?
I don't know.
Do you have a restroom here? Do you have a WC, a water closet? Is that what you say?
No, we would never say that. We say restroom, and I think it's because like you don't. At home, it's the bathroom because the bathtub's there, and then in public, it's the rest of the stuff. You do the rest of the stuff, and
that's
pissing.
That's cute.
I don't think that's true, but I came up with that.
It all feels kind of vulgar to me, and so I often ask where the facilities are, and sometimes people are like,
"That's creepy."
I know.
You know what I think's vulgar?
I just don't like I don't want to be like, "Where's your urinal? I need to tinkle."
British freaks.
That's it. Those are the options.
Yeah, British no, they also say the loo, or the worst is when they say bog. They say, "Where's the bog?"
No.
Or they call toilet paper bog roll. So fucked up. Disgusting people.
I'm pissing downstairs in the hole in my basement, and there is some piece of trash, like a thing that a circuit breaker's held in that my landlord left down there on the floor behind the washer, and I watch it happen. It fucking slides and falls right down in that hole. Now that's fucking grain, and I just pissed in it, and it can't, if it clogs up, you know, that's a big fucking problem. So then I tried to stick my hand down there and get it. I tried to make a spear out of I taped a screw on the end of the broomstick. It was like trying to spear the fucking thing out, and then I borrowed my brother's I borrowed my brother's shop vac and tried to suck all the piss out so that I could get it and maybe even try to get it. So then my brother's shop vac is full of piss, and I'm like, I didn't consider that might smell weird. So I had to buy a new shop vac filter for him and all that stuff. It was just a whole thing. That's why I hate going to the bathroom.
So how often do you puke, Brian? How often do you barf?
Not often, not as much, but every time I do it, I feel good.
And so, but where do you do it? You know, and like, what are we saying? Once a year or
Oh no, maybe
Like-
once every month or two, like
Oh,
just every once in a while.
That's pretty
you-
often.
Man,
What will
right.
lead you to vomit?
I don't know. There was a period where I was smoking cigarettes again, and it was
Okay,
pretty much
yeah.
every fifth cigarette made me vomit.
That
Coffee makes me
tracks.
vomit. Earl Grey cigarette or Earl Grey tea makes me vomit
Earl
every
Grey
time.
tea? What?
Yeah, every time. I've never had it and didn't barf.
So, okay, so once a month, your monthly puke. Because I'm starting to realize you have your issue with excrement from
Yeah.
various holes
Bad.
is actually because of plumbing. You just have anxiety about the plumbing. So I'm curious, do you barf into a bag or do you also barf into
Oh,
the toilet, but
no.
it goes down smooth and that's why you like it? Because you just picture releases from your body. You're like, what? You just care about the easiest way to get rid of it, and barf goes down smooth. Is that
I mean,
what
it depends on where I'm at because a lot of times I'll just run outside and barf in my backyard because that's more comfortable. I don't drink either, by the way. I just sometimes I get nauseous and I'll run out
This is
back
just tea. This is just tea bar.
or Earl Grey. Yeah, every time. Every
No,
fucking
every
time.
time.
I
Why
could go
are you
get-
still drinking Earl Grey tea? If it's
'Cause I always-
You're like, I
Conflict.
want to be high society. I want to have high tea. It's time.
Maybe
picturing
it
you like
was-
pinky out, just like drinking and barfing, and
I always think maybe it was that specific Earl Grey tea. You know, it's like, but then it happened like
but you
4
kept going
times.
back to it. Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
It has
yeah.
nicotine in it or something.
This
I don't
feels like
make-
you've just sort of had to make friends with your barf, and so like
Yeah.
you're ranking it high as like it's sort of
It's
like,
less
you know,
often
you're protecting
also.
yourself.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
often.
It is less
I-
often than shitting. Yeah, I assume you shit
I
more than
hate
once a month.
shitting.
Well, he
Oh.
shits every 2 days. It sounds like. So we got
Or
that.
no, I try every day. I drink a lot of that fiber drink that tastes like orange juice.
Oh yeah, Metamucil.
I did that about 3 times a day. I love that shit. That shit makes me so happy. But I just don't. The plumbing, I guess, is the situation.
That's what it is. It's
with
not
me.
about
Yeah.
the release from your body. It's more about what you do with it after.
That's why I
really.
think if I'm moving, my daughter graduates high school next year, so I can move out of the school district. And I think like one of the things I'm going to ask for is a powerful toilet or a public toilet in the downstairs, and because we're moving to a building probably, and down in the
okay.
lobby, maybe a big toilet there, and then because I'll do that a lot at hotels.
I
I'll
mean,
go
you're
down-
probably gonna have-
going into the lobby hotel bathroom to take the bad shit, you know, that you're not
Yeah,
supposed
from
to
being
get
on-
to. That's important. Yeah.
You
from being on
definitely.
vacation.
I
shit.
think if you're moving into like a shared space, you're probably gonna have to stop dumping a bucket of your own shit and piss in the alley beside
that
it.
might be a problem. But I'll just go. Like I said, I was on vacation at this like really hellish Airbnb. I wanted to take my wife up to Michigan, this town called Alpena, Michigan, that is pretty far north, and it's the best place to see the aurora borealis within 6 hours of my house. So I'm like, I'm gonna take her. She's always wanted to see it. I don't care about stars. I was looking at my phone the whole time, and she did end up seeing it. And I was like, yeah, you should see what's going on Twitter, man. Them motherfuckers are going crazy over there. But I took her up there, and we rented an RV to stay in. And when we fucking pulled up, we realized the RV was in somebody's driveway. So we rented sleeping in somebody's fucking driveway. And the water, he came in and the guy would come in and talk to us too. It was the worst feeling of my
Did the
life.
picture have like Christmas lights and stuff and make it look all like cute and twee? And you're like, oh, this is gonna be adorable. You know,
They put
my
a
wife will
fence
love
around it.
this. And then you get there, and that we did the exact same thing. We're like, oh, a converted school bus. This is so cute. And there was like stray cats climbing all over us. We were freezing cold in the middle of the night. Like, it's terrible.
Smells so bad. You couldn't shit in there. There's no shitting in there. And you really honestly probably didn't want to piss in there because when you hit the thing for it to go down, it would like smell like shit because he said they didn't have a good enough like grade out there for the drain. So I think I'm just sitting on top of several people's shit. And we ended up having to go to the grocery store every day to you know, like
Oh my
we get up
God.
every day, drive to the grocery store, 20 minutes away, take a crap, or I went to a coffee shop and down, because the other thing the motherfucker said was there was Wi-Fi. And we got there. There is Wi-Fi in his house that does not reach.
I've got Wi-Fi.
Yeah. He's like, most people don't want to watch TV anyway. I was like, you don't know me, man. I want to watch TV. I love TV. So we had to go to a coffee shop and download stuff. I mean, I didn't review it because I'm a pussy, but I should have reviewed it. I should have given it a terrible review.
Can't shit here.
Yeah, don't shit there. So I wanted to give you guys some David Draymond before we finish this, and I found David Draymond live.
Thank you so much.
And so this is 2003. I let me just start it here so you can hear how he's talking, because how he's talking is the weirdest thing in the world. And by the way, everybody looks at the videos that are given, that I get suggested, and they're all terrible.
It's all him.
It's all shock jocks, David Draymond.
Drayman, yeah.
And yeah, it's all shocked. It's like,
I mean, mine is all like, what if Blink-182 had a guitar solo, or like Baby Shark for 4 hours long? Like, just my algorithm is so fucked, Brian. There's no judgment here, my friend.
Did you ever hear that? And I talked about this with Minion Death Cult. The Around the World by Red Hot Chili Peppers, where he's like ching chong a ding a dong a ding dong. Did you ever see that like 12-hour supercut of him doing that over and over again? It's like my favorite thing.
No.
More offensive than
again. I think if we watched that in Canada, we'd probably never work again.
Just nuke our computers. Yeah.
So here we go. This is On Stage, and we'll just get it started here so you can hear how he's talking.
The symbol that you see elevated above the set behind me is a symbol of universal belief.
So he's talking.
Gosh.
Yes, he's the fucking coolest guy. He's the coolest guy. Imagine being this cool.
The symbol that you see.
Just
he's
behind you. Oh my God.
Within it are contained representations of the 4 religious symbols that represent the 4 faiths that span this globe.
Well, I don't know that. He's from Chicago.
I'm going to go ahead and guess neither of you have seen Marvelous Miss Maisel. I mean,
no,
I know.
No.
Yeah,
I have. I watched
okay, you have.
Seasons of it. Yeah.
Doesn't he kind of sound like on that show when like a contemporary actor is trying to do like a 1940s radio voice, or like a radio comedian voice? They're like, and now introducing to the stage Lenny Bruce. Like people don't talk like that at all.
It's very introducing Lenny Bruce. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There is a symbol behind me, and it's so weird. It's the weirdest delivery.
The symbol
is that
great.
the Disturbed logo? Is the Disturbed logo just all of the major religions?
It's just every symbol ever.
It's just like one of those things that you think was fucking genius when you were 13. You think this is so deep.
I mean, it's so cliche to say, but it's just like literally Spinal Tap couldn't come up with something like this.
It's true.
Like,
it is true. Yeah.
And I also
the symbol is insane, by the way. It doesn't, if you look at it, I don't even know what it looks like. It doesn't look like a symbol at all to me. It just looks like a total mess.
It is, yeah. It's almost hard to describe, but there must be like geometrically, mathematically, there must be a swastika hidden in here somewhere. That,
Not him. He would never do that. Not David. Here it comes. I'll give him a little more.
Standing for Catholicism and Christianity. The Star of David, standing for Judaism. You have the Pentacle, standing for paganism and...
That's not one of the 4 major religions.
I was kind of curious, like which 4 he was going to pick, and I was like, I feel like there's a pentagram in there.
There's too many things, and also, is there devil horns? Or
he'll explain the devil horns too, which that is my favorite part of the thing. But I'm going to go back.
He didn't talk like this last time we watched videos of him. He only talks like this one time.
He's got the Elizabeth Holmes like evolving voice disease.
Maybe it is just got like a character on stage maybe is the only thing I can think is like he goes to a different place when he's on stage and he becomes
creatively.
this.
It's code switching.
Yeah.
It's called code switching. Yeah.
The pentacle, standing for paganism and Wicca. And no, that is not a pentagram. That would be the symbol inverted. And we do not acknowledge the existence of Satan in the first place.
What? All right. Sick.
The cadence is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
It's insane.
It's just like this is everything that we loved about watching that documentary because he's doing such like dumb smart guy stuff of like, oh, you heard pentacle and you thought you'd correct me. Well, no. Like,
Yeah, he's
oh
doing
my
that
God.
actual like borderline Vincent Price voice.
Yeah.
It's like-
it is
it's like-
very yeah.
He's being pretentious, but it's impossible to know what he's trying to pretend to be. Like he's just it's like
I don't know. I'm trying to think of 2003 stuff too, and I just can't think of anything that would, other than, you know, the thing we told you guys on the POD cast is he calls himself a triple major in college, which means he just took a bunch of classes, really, that he was interested in. There's no such thing as a
Smart. He's
triple
so
major.
Smart. Imagine being this smart. I don't know what I'd do if I had his brain.
Yeah, it would be great. Here's. Oh, they're going nuts now.
He is a bedtime story told to children to frighten them into sleep.
Well, you don't.
But okay, why is he acknowledging? First of all, it's like Catholicism and Christianity, which I think is a funny way of framing just like Christianity, and then being like, "But Satan is made up." Like I mean, like Josiah as the theologian.
I mean, he could be, you
of
know,
this
on
conversation.
he could be on like an emerging church tip. I know some real outsider emerging church people think that hell is more of a metaphor and doesn't exist, but many of them, like Rob Bell, have been ousted from traditional evangelical circles. I do like separating Christianity from Catholicism. He's kind of recognizing he's giving Martin Luther some sway in his speech. So I like that.
Okay, cool. Man, I feel like you're a bit of an intellectual heavyweight too.
Yeah, I would love to see you.
You go toe to toe
debate-
with Draymond.
Yeah, I'd love to see you debate him.
When I ask you to show me your devil horns, that is not a sign of Satan. That is a sign of heavy fucking metal.
That is not a sign of Satan. That is the sign of heavy fucking metal. I maybe like when you sing, I don't know this. I'm not a singer. Maybe when you sing, it like makes you talk, because he does kind of sound like when you listen to Down with the Sickness. He's like kind of
he's
talking
bringing that
like,
enunciation into his real life.
Right.
yeah.
The final addition to the symbol is the crescent moon of Islam, which is not necessarily the most popular of symbols these days.
2003. Okay.
But the one thing that we all have in common, no matter what faith we subscribe to, is that within the physical shell that is our bodies resides a human soul. And within the soul of every human being on this planet, music resonates.
Yes. Were people straight up booing Islam there? Like that? Yeah, that's fucking gnarly.
It's 2003.
I
in
feel like
the
he would be
United
booing
States.
it now, though, based on his
Oh,
tweets. I mean,
He
it's
does
kind
not
of
like Islam.
But that's actually because this is like, does the Disturbed logo still feature like Islamic symbols? Because that does not yet feel like contemporary Draymond vibes.
It's literally this logo is literally the coexist sticker, but for new metal people.
It is.
So
That's true.
sick.
I'm looking up their Disturbed symbol.
Yeah, they definitely just like replaced it with like something Hindu now. They're
They
like,
still
"It's
have it."
never."
Oh, it's still there. They still have it.
It is.
But do they
Oh,
use
yeah.
it still? Maybe they don't use it anymore.
Violently it changed. Yeah, it's seems like it's everywhere. It's the dumbest symbol. Everybody that's listening, go look at the Disturbed logo symbol.
It's incredible.
And
like Josiah said, if you're in your car and you see a coexist bumper sticker, like you're basically there.
Just imagine that they ran out of room and tried to squish it all into a square.
Jammed it all in.
on top of each other.
the coexist sticker that they folded.
There's a real small car.
So perhaps if we stopped paying so
He sounds like
stage.
he literally sounds like oh fuck, I'm drawing a blank. What's the Schitt's Creek, like the older guy, the dad?
Eugene Levy.
He sounds like Eugene Levy. He sounds like a Eugene Levy character. It sounds like an SCTV like record where there's like a guy introducing something.
But you're right, but in the sense that it feels like a Christopher Guest movie, like that you like you're 100% there.
I mean, this guy is beyond like I mean, it would be a great movie to just make like kind of a David Draymond like character touring the country, because Spinal Tap is one thing, but like, so I don't think Spinal Tap was ever like, we're very smart guys as part of the joke. That I don't think they could have ever fucking dreamed that a heavy metal guy would think he's as smart as David Draymond. And there's just
Rob Reiner never conceived of such a triple major threat.
So here he's
So perhaps.
So I just want to stop it again. Saying perhaps on stage at a heavy metal concert is the weirdest thing. Like, to me, that's not a heavy metal. So perhaps.
If we stopped paying so much attention to how different we are and started realizing how much alike we are, maybe we would not have gotten involved in this accursed war in the first place!
Whoa.
Anti-war talk, accursed.
So indeed, my brothers and sisters, I say fight the war. And use our music as a weapon!
Oh my God. He's incredible.
He's the greatest.
He's too beautiful. He's too fucking beautiful. So
love
like that was
one of
sort of
my favorite
anti-war,
guys.
but then he was like going all what's Demon Hunter or whatever, like one of those like Christian bands that is like, put our logo on the fucking missiles, man. Like really,
I think because Demon Hunter was used. I don't know if you know that band, Brian. You might like them.
I've heard of. I actually
Christian
did.
Slipknot, I think.
I got
Maybe.
a buddy who was really into like Christian metalcore and stuff, and he had me on his show. He gave me a playlist, and I listened to a bunch of it. And you know, metalcore sucks, but I listened to some of it. And was like,
Christians are the best at the worst genres, like ska and metalcore. But I think Demon Hunter was like being used at Gitmo, and they were like, heck yeah, do that. Keep doing that.
We'll make a more
It's
Demon
over.
song, bro.
Yeah. I wonder like if they have to pay royalties for doing that.
did
I
you
don't
get like
think-
ASCAP checks for being played at Gitmo?
I don't think they would use. I don't think they would use Disturbed because it rocks too hard.
Yeah, it's too
for
good.
torture. It's too good. The
Plus
the prisoners would be like, "Damn, this rips."
Plus, it's music for everyone, as the logo shows. Like it's all sides.
Yeah.
Everyone can appreciate it.
It would
so.
offer them solace, you know, which you can't be giving them solace.
I'll pick one at random for you guys too. The song meanings before we go, because you know, maybe
I love song
one
meanings.
of the I wish they did. Every band had to do this, by the way. I don't know why Device did it, but I just randomly picked one, and we will go ahead and listen to David explain what vilify, his song Vilify, is about.
Great $3 word. Also,
It is.
Vilify.
It is. Here we go.
Vilify is the first single off the record and a great flagship song to represent the band right out of the gate. Definitely.
He's not
Is that
doing
what
the
your hair
voice.
looks like? Brian?
Not that long, but I mean the idea is there. That is
Yeah, conceptually.
I hate
These guys
hearing
look
him.
like
I
idiots, too.
hate hearing his inside voice now. I wish he was doing the other voice still.
I don't know. He's still talking weird. I'm interested in what he has to say.
He is still a little weird.
All of the
Yeah.
sonic qualities and all of the uniqueness of what Device is. It is definitely heavy enough to make the most ardent Disturbed fan happy, but different enough to open many new doors and to be inviting to people who may never have been Disturbed fans in the first place.
I've listened to Device. It sounds like Disturbed. It sounds like almost exactly like this.
You don't feel like it's opening up people's minds? New people.
I listened to
it.
As I've said before, it's very much its own unique thing. It's very much got its own specific identity. The strong fusion of electronica and the captivating nature of the power of the riff in it, and the
Captivating nature of the power of the riff is.
When is this video from? What?
This is 2009. It's 9 years ago. I think it's like
electronica.
Yeah, I don't think people said electronica after like the year 2000.
Yeah,
it's kind of
he was too HD to be saying electronica.
Yeah,
oh my god, he talks so much like he wants people to think that he's smart, and
does.
It's so beautiful,
and it works,
and I want that
for
it. Does it works for him, and I'm just so happy. I'm so happy for him.
he's
rhythmic onslaught, which you're assaulted with, are very, very convincing. The meaning of the song is basically talking about the many people out there who make me out to be this bad guy, and I'm just so not that. I've never been anyone to back away from the things I'm passionate about or what I believe in. I never will be. I will never apologize for standing up for my beliefs, and I won't apologize for speaking with a certain amount of vernacular and
there you go.
I can hear a faint clanging of his weird piercing while he talks.
Yeah. You gotta respect someone who has like a signature piercing. Like, you don't see, like, he has a whole, like, no one else has that clanky vibe, and I love that.
I sort of want to get it in a way. Like, I already wear the red Yankees cap. Why not get that same piercing?
Just mash them up, and then get that like weird leather jacket. Like, I don't even know where you buy a jacket like that. Like, it's just like a department store leather jacket or something.
That's rock guys, though. I mean, their clothes are always like, where did you get that loud, clangy jacket? You know, their stuff always sounds so loud.
Having a certain grasp of the English language and having a certain level of education, which I've spent many years trying to cultivate. I think that people sometimes mistake those aspects for being haughty, or they mistake the persona.
He just had people think he's haughty, which by the way,
oh my
fucking more haughty.
He wants so badly for people to think that he's haughty. That's what's so amazing about it.
He's trying. So he's like, yeah, it's like almost like a humble brag, right? Like he's trying to say, I wish people would accept me as being down to earth, but I always come across as too smart. But he's doing it.
Apologize for the amount of vernacular that I use, or like what using these words correctly.
Yeah, I know. He's basically always saying he's the guy at a Q&A after a film who has more of a comment than a question. Like, that's all he ever says.
He did one here. He did like only a few dates of this, but I think it was him that did a Q&A sort of spoken word thing at a theater here in town like a year and a half ago, and I didn't fucking go, which was so stupid. I should have been there. I should have been asking him a question.
Yeah, because at least, like, you know, like, you think of other singers, like Rollins is like kind of a dumb guy trying really, really hard to be smart, but he's never overreaching. Like, you'll never hear, like, people love to like make fun of Rollins, but like, you would never hear these sentences come out of his mouth. Like,
you would never say. You never apologize for having a certain type of vernacular. That would just never happen. Nobody except for David does that. Nobody. Just a few more seconds
of the individual that you see on stage, which is all of my power and all of my ferocity and shedding every single ounce of fear to be the persona of the individual when I come off stage, which really isn't necessarily the case. It's more of a yin and yang type of thing. But yeah, it's basically a message to all of the haters out there who pretend to know who I am, but really are way off base, and kind of calling them out and making them feel it.
Oh, well, I didn't feel it. I honestly didn't hear it.
Did he say it was a bit of a yin and yang thing, like, which is not it?
Because when he comes off stage, he's not the guy that talks really weirdly.
Yeah,
I
he's not
guess
like, every religious logo is the same. And then was he trying to do Jordan Peterson on stage, or he gets Proto Peterson?
Oh, maybe.
Oh, I bet he would do I see. That's what we gotta get. Is really what we gotta get is a TED Talk. Is the Draymond TED Talk, and I think I've been trying to. I've been thinking about, now that Street Fight is like just mine, about letting weird guys have like 5 minutes. Like Mancow is a guy that he's a total freak, and he's an idiot, and he's a liar, and I want to give him 5 minutes to try to talk my fans out of being communists, and just let him go and let him talk for 5 minutes. I would let David Draymond talk for an hour. I would just release an episode with just him talking.
Of course.
Just pure uncut Draymond. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for doing this with me. It was extremely
thank you for having
fun.
us. Thank you for this cultural exchange.
It's been a wonderful cultural exchange. See, we can reach across the aisle, pop punk to new metal, and really,
you guys, I if you ever feel the need, obviously the Device song meetings are the greatest thing in the world, but if you ever want to mine any of this stuff, the Sully Erna hometown sessions is nuts. I think when Josiah was on last, I mentioned like people should listen to it, and a guy DM'd me like 3 weeks later, and he was like, I listened to every single episode of Sully's hometown sessions, and it's the worst podcast I've ever heard, but I couldn't stop.
You got a lot of sicko listeners, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they like me, who is I like only look at sickos or listen to sickos.
Yeah, I mean, listening to a podcast is sicko behavior for sure. Without a question.
So tell people where to find you guys.
So it's January right now.
It is
2023. Obviously, we all know this. COVID is officially over. So everyone, that's the
maybe you never know.
Take away.
That's the headline.
Right. So we used to talk about every Blink-182 song once a week, and it was like 4-hour episodes on like a B-side that no one's ever heard of. And it was hell for most people, but also a lot of fun. We kind of lost and found ourselves in it. And then we ran out of Blink-182 songs, so we started talking about different punk songs. But Blink-182 is back. And so what we're doing now is we're still talking about other stuff in front of the paywall. January, we're doing Dry January. We're talking about straight edge music every week. It's Brian's worst nightmare. Murder X Brian X.
Have I ever told you guys about my the time I was at a Pantera concert and I met the first time I ever met a straight edge, and like
a straight edge.
We were standing in the mosh pit. It was me and my idiot redneck friends from Groveport, Ohio, talking to this guy that has like, the piercings and all that stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'm straight edge. We're like, what the fuck does that mean? And he started explaining it, and they're like, oh, I'll never be that. We just all immediately were like, oh, no, I'll never be that. Because
thank you.
I can't remember, but somebody said something like, you don't use toothpaste? Like, very dumb group of idiots.
So we're doing that in front of the paywall, but Blink-155 is back, and the fun of it is, there's not that many new Blink-182 songs as of January 2023, but we're still making ourselves talk about Blink-182 every single week for a full episode. So behind the paywall, we're back to overanalyzing, losing our fucking minds about the band Blink-182. And I think it's, you might be listening to this and be like, I don't like Blink-182. Well, you know what? I don't either. I think Sam does, but I do. It's a safe space for the haters. You might hate it if you're a Blink-182 fan, actually, but maybe
that's
not.
probably the only people that would not like the podcast is like ardent Blink-182 fans. It's not really for you.
Yeah.
God, it's very funny, and it is, I think I've said this to you, Josiah, in the past, that like doing something like, because I do sort of the shock jock stuff, and currently now I'm doing a Dane Cook thing. There is something really fun about just going as deep as fucking possible on something
for years of your life. Like it's amazing what you find about yourself in that process.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, thanks, guys. What's going to happen now is I'm going to hit the end, and it's going to hang up, and then we're going to do another podcast. I'm going to open my Discord and do another podcast. But I thank you guys so much for coming on.
Yeah, of course.
Dude, thanks so much for having us. This was so much fun, man. Really appreciate it.
Bye.